Hello and welcome to another Intel webinar. I just see people logging in here. So my name's Zach. I'm from the client success team. I head up the webinars here at Intel. We've been doing sort of some best practices series at the moment, helping out people, see the most out of Intel. And we've done a few vertical specific webinars, I should say, but this one's going to be much more of an overview. Okay, so there's a lot I want to cover today, but it's all going to be centering around sort of a main idea of creating deeper relationships with website video visitors. Or more importantly, it's going to be centered around the idea of what is your goal with Aimtel Web Push. So there's a lot of things you can accomplish with Aimtel, but if you don't have sort of an end goal in sight, sort of maybe a conversion or, like I said, a goal for your users who visit your site, it's going to be difficult for you to, see to get the most out of it. So this is one that we can you can borrow if you like and make your own. It's going to be different for every vertical and everything like that. But creating a deeper relationship with website visitors, there's more to your website with Web Push, in other words. And there's a few ways to accomplish that, creating the depth to your website. And yeah, we're going to jump straight into some of the best practices in how to get that going. So with that goal in mind, with creating deeper relationships, just jump straight in. So the opt-in prompt is the first thing that users will see when you're using Web Push notifications. So it's very important that you're getting that right, that the strategy for that is, the strategy you're using, I should say, is, working for you. Some sites just need the native opt-in, but we do provide the capability to do custom opt-ins. So on the dashboard, you can just simply click on opt-ins, prompts down here, and you can begin to go through and build it out. It's very straightforward. It should only take 5 to 10 minutes. And with that, you can begin to have a company like this. So Deathwish Coffee, they're customers of ours, and they've begun to use their own. So this is very brand centric, right? Very simple, very straightforward. Deathwish Coffee and you want to receive notifications on deals and sales. No, and hell yeah, right? That fits their brand. It fits their aesthetic. And that immediately caught my attention. And immediately I was like, oh yeah, I'd be interested in this. So that's just an example that we've got where someone is using custom opt-ins to help their promote their brand and, promote how their brand feels as well. And just to give you some numbers here, very conservative numbers is about 25 to 35% opt-in rate. So you can view that very simply on the overview and just select your opt-in rate down here. And 25 to 30% is just the base standard. However, when you utilize a strategy, you can begin to, sometimes double that to 30 to 50%. And depending on your vertical, you can get upwards of 90% opt-in rate, which is mind-blowing to think about. And compare that to sort of email and SMS, you're seeing sort of how a good opt-in strategy can be so beneficial in the long run. So yeah, opt-ins, that's a very, very important thing right off the bat. Moving straight along, I want to talk about segmentation and specifically browser and device formatting for Web Push notifications. So, a lot of people may ask, well, what are Web Push notifications? And Web Push notifications are little notifications that come across your screen, on your mobile, on your desktop. They all look different for every browser, and they, well, I say could potentially look different for every browser and every device. So it's important that you're beginning to use our segmentation and browser device format, not just for, making sure your notification is being delivered correctly, but also that you are sending targeted notifications to people. So our segmentation is a bit of our competitive edge for us. We have state-of-the-art segmentation, actually. We're very proud of it. And basically, you can create buckets of people, and those buckets can then be used for insights and also for targeting. Spending the time to think about what segments you want to use is so worthwhile in the long term. Doing it right from the start and making sure that you're, targeting people correctly is a big one. Targeted notifications always work better than a sort of overlap, or not overlap, sort of like a, one notification captures all sort of thing. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't use those, but I'm saying that when you use specific notifications for specific people, it always helps. Targeted notifications work. Use the location. We also track that. You know, page views, we track that for you as well. Your interest of people with by what page they've used, again, whether and what device they're using. You can also even set up your own tracked data points and use that. Very easy to do segmentation. So for instance, this is an example e-commerce site. And so a segment you might want to utilize is, you know, they visited a page URL that contains the word dress. So you know that's an interest now of these people. But you also want to track a custom event about whether they've purchased an item. So you know, just from, you know, this took maybe 2 minutes to set up. There's about 75,000 subs in here. So about 20,000 of those 75,000 subscribers have visited a page that has the word dress in, but they didn't convert. And not only is this, you know, useful to, you know, as an insight, you can see how many, okay, well, this is what they're viewing, but they're not purchasing. You can use this now to target people, maybe with a specific manual notification, like, hey, have you checked out this dress? Have you seen this dress? And so on and so forth. So making sure that you use segmentation is the #1 thing that I see people not do, and it's so important to begin using. And the same thing goes for browser and device format. So we automatically format your notifications for the device that they're on. So we do that for you anyways. However, some notifications make them look different than the other. So if you're sending them to all of the browsers and all of the devices, you maybe want to edit and tweak the wording and stuff. And so we wrote it down here, placing the most crucial part of your message towards the beginning of your title or body to ensure it doesn't get cut off. And it's very easy to test. We've got fully built-in test capabilities. So just on the specific notification, you'll just want to send the test push to yourself and see how it works, how it looks. Again, browser specific, device specific, it does matter. Targeted notifications work. Okay, next, call to action buttons. So simple and easy to use, yet I see the majority of people not use them. Why use call to action buttons? Well, in any marketing scheme, really, you know, CTAs are so important. They help make the goal that you want your subscribers to achieve easier. And that's why you should use them. They make the goal easier. It's so easy to use. You just click on the little buttons down at the bottom here, and you can just add in, you know, whatever you want it to look like. So if you're doing an abandoned cart, a view cart, use some emojis here. And you can link to up to 3 different places on your site. So that is absolutely, you know, so useful for you if you want to be linking out to multiple locations. If you're a publisher, an advertiser, or something like that, you maybe want to be sending them out to 3 different locations. So you have 3 different opportunities to get that click out and get that revenue. It draws attention. It increases the real estate on the screen. If we go to some docs here and we just see how notifications look. So this is on a mobile here. This is without any call to actions. This is with a call to action, sorry, with a large image, but also with the action buttons. You can see here that is much more space for someone to click on. Very simple and straightforward, but again, you'd be surprised how many people don't utilize our action buttons. So begin to use those. Another best practice is timing or optimizing by the user time zone. Timing is key. So just as sort of targeting notifications work, that's a little sentence there I want you to take away. Timing is key is another one. For all campaigns, whether that's a manual, a triggered, a welcome notification, even the opt-in, timing is key. Have a think. Just spend 30 seconds when you're scheduling your notifications out to think, okay, when should I want this to go? A great example that I thought of the other day was if you're a news site or a content site, and let's say you want to send out a daily notification showing people daily headlines, daily news headlines. Well, you don't want that notification being sent at, you know, 11:30 at night or, you know, 2 p.m. in the afternoon when everyone's at work. You want that sent 7, 8, maybe even earlier, 6 a.m. in the morning. So how can you guarantee that you can do that globally? Well, on our scheduling feature for notifications, you can optimize by time zone. So whatever time zone you set it in is the time zone it will be sent globally. Note, you need to make sure you send this 24 hours in advance. It is so crucial to do. So let's say I want to send for 8 a.m. on Saturday, it's Thursday where I am. I would need to schedule that basically today to make sure that's out at least 24 hours in advance. And that will show up on everyone's device that you send it to at the appropriate time. So very great and simple feature to use. It's just one button to use, and you can guarantee that your notifications are being sent accurately. Okay, so we're now getting into little meat and bones. I know I'm going quite quickly here, so if you need to take a little pause and get a drink or something, I'm going to take a little sip of water here. But like I said, we've still got a lot to cover. So the meat and the bones of Aimtel, and really the beauty about what's possible, is to do with our automatic campaigns. We know sometimes that you can create manual notifications. When manual campaigns, very good summary here is you create the campaign, select your audience, and then you schedule it. Triggered campaigns are actually dynamic based upon your web visitors' use of your website. So whether they view a page, whether they purchase an item, whether they download a PDF, whatever it may be, we can track it, use it as a data point, and then define that as a trigger to get that stuff out, get the notifications out. Triggered notifications generally have a higher CTR than manual notifications. And the reason behind that is because you're sending curated and tailored content straight to people based upon their interactions with the website. So how do they work? Well, trigger campaigns work based off triggers. Triggers are based off of tracked events. So basically you track an event, you define it as a trigger, and then it will automatically send when that trigger is pulled. This is really where you can see the ROI with Aimtel, whether that's through abandoned cart notifications. So someone abandons cart if you're an e-com, a PDF download or an application download if you're a content or a software site, a form submission or an email drip, whatever it may be, or even actually a notification click drip. So if this is a big one at the moment, if you get paid when someone clicks on a notification, well, maybe what you want to do is when someone clicks on a notification, you set that as a trigger, and then 6 hours later you send another one. Really the sky's the limit with this, and it's all with 15 minutes of work. You can begin to track those events, create the campaigns, and send them out. Events are open-ended. So we'll go back here to the documentation. What do I mean by that? I mean that we deliberately set it up in a way that you can choose to track what you want, what is valuable to you. You can it's very simple. You just place this little piece of script code here. You just swap out what you want these to be. And then once they start to track, you can begin to use them in triggered notifications as the event. Just quickly show you here. So whatever the event may be, you just set the category and action to whatever you're tracking. Again, I know this this is a very high level overview. If you've got any more questions, please utilize us. We're more than happy to help you get these set up. So yeah, schedule a call with us to get some specific strategies for your vertical. Along a similar vein is employing personalization, and this is based upon what you track as well, but instead of events, you can actually start to track custom attributes as well. So custom attributes could be things like age or name or location and things like that. When you place this code as well on sites, we automatically ascribe the data to the subscriber ID, and then you can use that in notifications. So let's say you're tracking a first name here. So you can just use curly brackets, first name. You also have some fallback text here. So let's say you want, hey, we're tracking the first name, so my name's Zach. So hey, Zach. If they don't track the data, you just say there, check it out, whatever it may be. This phenomenally increases your clicks. When you see a notification that has your name in, has your location and stuff like this, you're going to be getting more clicks. People are naturally more drawn to when they say, oh, they're more interested, their interest is piqued, they're curious. So making sure that you can use this in notifications, but also in segmenting. You can track it from places like forms, from checkout pages, from email drips, even based on but this one actually, if you're a political site or you are, tracking people's interests, well, maybe you have a little form where you've got checkboxes of interests. You can track that as a custom attribute and use that to segment and target people. Again, touching on the segmentation. The idea here is, to summarize the trigger campaigns and the personalization is, think about what you would want when you use your site, your UX. What would you want as a notification? Track what you think will get people's attention. And that is sort of one of the best pieces of advice I give people is, opt in and see what you get, and then what you don't get, set up. Okay, A/B testing. So this one is very good for people who are beginning to want to optimize their notifications, and they want to protect from things like user fatigue and stuff like that. We have state-of-the-art frequency capping, so make sure you're not sending too many notifications. But also A/B testing is absolutely crucial as well if you want to advance your usage. So what is A/B testing? Well, in notifications, so for instance, let me pull up a manual campaign here. A/B testing simply means you can create two versions of the same push and it'll send to 50-50 of the targeting you send. So A and B, you can build them out and send them out. Why do this? Well, every subscriber base is different. And the idea is you need to test and then you need to adjust. Whether that be adjusting with different wording, different emojis, images, no images, smaller images, different icons, different colors, whether you use call to actions, two call to actions, what links you're using, and so on and so forth. The testing is crucial to optimize your campaigns to make sure you are reaching that goal that I mentioned in the start. Another feature of the A/B testing is, let's say you're an e-commerce site and you're like, okay, I want to send a notification giving a promo or a sales code or discount code. Well, you want to do version A with 15% off, and then you want to do version B with 10% off. And you see which one does better because you're still getting the conversion, but maybe you're saving 5% on those campaigns and stuff. So there's a lot of different stuff there that you can use. Utilizing custom icons and images. This one can get very niche very quickly, but the main idea about this is it's always good to have your brand on it. Your brand is always going to be in the URL, so it's not essential that your brand is in there in the icon. However, that's definitely a good practice. But if you want to vary it a little bit, so, some browsers, I know Mac, they might only let you see an icon. So if you're selling like this one here, if you're selling a leather bag, maybe you want the leather bag to be in the icon rather than the entire image, because the image isn't going to be shown on Macs. So just having a think and having a play around with custom icons and things like that is a very good practice. I just want to take a second here as well. If you guys have got any questions or anything, I'm going to see if I can get to them at the end. I know we're getting a few questions in. So if you want to ask a few more, I'd be more than happy to reach them if we've got time. So feel free to ask away. Okay, great. So yeah, using icons. Oh, actually, I want to touch on emojis here as well. I see a lot of people not use emojis. Actually, I found out that push notification open rates, so click rates, are improved by almost 85% when they included emojis. So if that doesn't show you how important emojis are in drawing that attention immediately, I don't know what is. Use emojis. If you're not using them, use them. That is the simplest thing, really. Okay. And number 10, setting up conversion tracking. Now, this is absolutely a best practice. You want to be able to see where the conversions are happening, or maybe even important, just as important even, it would be seeing where they don't. Although click-through ratio is a good metric, so CTR clicks is a good metric, it shouldn't be the only one that you're tracking or tracking success. The same as triggered notifications and personalization, you can set up tracked events and define them as conversions in individual campaigns in the conversion tab. So let's say, for instance, that I don't know, you're a publisher and you publish content and you track a conversion as someone who clicks off your site. Very common in this industry. Well, you would then want to track that conversion as a click out. Again, you can do that through tracking custom events here, which, by the way, you can track custom events on button clicks and things like that as well. There's some stuff in here to help you do that. And you maybe want to ascribe a value to that, a label, make it as granular as you want, but you want to track, button clicked as the conversion. You track it, and every time someone clicks on this notification and then clicks on the button, that will track as a conversion automatically ascribed to this notification. You can also use, actually, just while we're on this topic, you can use our inbuilt Google Analytics tracking. So this is great to, just begin to track it as a very simple, without having to do any extra snippet placing or anything like that. Just use Google Analytics here. You can automatically track that. Okay, so to summarize here a little bit, I know we've gone through these quite quickly, and I'm conscious of that. So any questions, feel free to shoot away. But basically, you need to have a goal with your marketing with Aimtel. And once you've got that in mind, you can begin to use Aimtel to its fullest potential and to accomplish what you need. So what's the next steps for you after this webinar? Well, first of all, if you're not an Aimtel client already, we've got a 14-day free trial, and we're actually running a special promotion right now. If you are a brand new client, to use a promo code called Best Webinar. So when you sign in and you create an account, you can access your billing on settings, and then there's, obviously I'm on the team plan here, but there'll be a button here that says Adding Billing Info. Just add the promo code Best Webinar, and you can get 25% off your first 3 months here at Aimtel. So we want to help you guys get going. Another next step, if you're already with us though, would be to use our demos. So schedule a call with us. We've got dedicated people, support members, to help you get Aimtel set up on your site. So you should begin using that. There's a few ways you can do it. Aimtel.com/demo is a great way to get it. But if you're already in, you can just click on this little button at the top and click on Request Demo or Contact Support. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Documentation Center can help you get set up as well. And we're also bringing out new features every month. So last month, we just released our templates feature and our webhooks and postbacks. So it's even better ways to do it. So we've got pre-built stuff. But in the coming months, we're actually bringing out a CPC monetization feed. And so if that's something that's interests you, keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, so I've got a few questions here coming in. So we've got one question here saying, what about if we block, or someone blocks a notification? What happens then? So that brings us back to custom opt-in prompts. So custom opt-in prompts have got 2 clicks. So if I click on yes, it will then show the native prompt again, at which point they'll have to click on allow again. Now, if someone blocks the custom opt-in prompt, you can actually show the opt-in prompt again to users maybe in a week or so. And you want to be, you want to be careful that you're not overly showing them, because if they're not interested, they're not interested. But that is a potential way to work around if people block notifications. So custom opt-in prompts, that's a definite advantage you can use with that. Oh, and I got another question here. What happens if we don't have the data for custom attributes? Okay, yeah, so that would be our fallback text as well. So you can actually put in fallback text for you, and that would be something you could do. It's very, very straightforward. Just curly brackets, whatever the one is, and then use the fallback text, whatever it may be, first name. If you want to do location, I mean, it could be whatever it wants to be. Okay. You showed your own subscription, but how about the native opt-in? Is it overruled? So what do you mean by that? Just to get a little bit of clarity, native opt-in. So I'm not entirely sure what that is. That's okay though. I'm just sending you my email here. Email me your question, and maybe, I don't know, give a little bit more context. I'd be more than happy to answer that in more. Oh, you're just asking it. Do I always get the opt-in of the browser? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, you do. So no matter. So for instance, I'm on this site here, and yeah, I get the opt-in. That will always show. If you set up a custom opt-in, you can actually define when, how often you want it to show, when you want it to show. So you can even do it on if they view a certain amount of pages or on a page scroll. And this will be how the prompt gets shown, whether that's with the custom opt-in prompt or the native opt-in prompt. You can even go as far to say you show it on specific pages only as well. And this will overrule everything on there as well. So yeah, you will always get the opt-in of the browser there. Okay, great. Well, I know we're coming up to about 30 minutes here. We want to try and keep them sort of 25 to 30 minutes, just to respect everyone's time. I know there's so much content going on at the moment. I know we're all working from home, so we really appreciate you taking the time and looking and, you know, and learning more about Aimtel and the possibilities that you can do. So yeah, if you're a new user, best webinar, 25% off for 3 months. So if you've not taken advantage of that, I would highly recommend you take advantage of that. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. We've also got a handout for the guide I just shared. If you want to download that, you can do that. And yeah, great to see you all. Hope to see you again soon.